Hey, welcome back. Today we're making this easy liquid pouring animation in Blender with no fluid simulation required. I'm using an RTX 3060 and a RYZEN 55600X. Let's get started. In Blender, I simply have my energy drink model. I have a full tutorial on how to model energy drinks on my channel, link in the description. Let's start animating. I'm to rotate my energy drink with R on the X-axis and type 90 on my keyboard to rotate the energy drink 90 degrees. Now let's add in a camera and look at our energy drink from the bottom up, or whatever angle you'd like to see your animation, and press Ctrl plus Alt plus numpad 0 to lock the camera to your view. If you don't have a numpad, you can go over to View, Align View, then Align Active Camera to View. Adjust the camera position with G on your keyboard and using X, Y, and Z to isolate certain axes. Now for the movement of the camera, add in a cube with Shift plus A and place it at the point you want your camera to orbit. This will make sense in a second. Select the camera, then the cube, and press Ctrl plus P and select Parent to Object Keep Transform. This will connect the camera's position to the cube, and as you can see when we rotate the cube, the camera moves with it. Make sure to hide the cube in the render with this toggle in the scene collection. Now let's add some basic keyframes. Select the cube, and on the first frame of our timeline, I'll press I on my keyboard to add in a location and rotation keyframe to lock in the cube's position and rotation. Then I'll go halfway up my timeline, which is set to 75 frames, and rotate the cube 180 degrees on the Z-axis and add in another location and rotation keyframe on the last frame. I'll go over my timeline and press Shift plus D to duplicate the first keyframe and move it to the end, creating this looping animation. Great! Now let's create the water pouring effect. Create a new plane and rotate and move it so it's facing out your energy drink and sitting where the fluid should come out. Now let's go to our particle settings and press Create New, set the initial number to be something high like 15000, set the frame start to be -4. Now under velocity, set the Z-axis to be 2.5. If the particles move backwards, simply change it to -2.5 instead. Now our particles are pouring out like they should. Let's make it look like water. Press Shift plus A and add in a MetaBall sphere. You see when these MetaBalls come together, they stick and create one object that can dynamically morph and change its shape. This is how we'll create our water effect. Back in our particle settings, under Render Change to Render as Object, set the scale to 0.25 and set Instance Object to MetaBall. Now if we hit play on our timeline, our MetaBalls are creating this liquid effect without any fluid simulation required. Now let's light our scene. In the render settings, I'll set my render to cycles and my device to GPU because I have an RTX graphics card. To set this up, go to Edit, Preferences, System, and finally select Optics and your graphics card. Now for the lighting. I'll use this HDRI I found off of Blender Kit, which can be added by dragging and dropping with the add-in, or alternatively being done manually in the shader editor by selecting World and adding in an environment texture node. You can turn the overall brightness of the scene up with the strength slider in the world settings. Now if we press Z and go to rendered, we can see our lighting with our energy drink. Finally, you can set up your render settings and hit render. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you and can't wait to create more Blender content for you all.